It is 6:10 p.m. in Abu Dhabi. It should be 7:40 p.m. in India. And today we have our session number 272. And topic of discussion today is communication power of silence. So just the basics, what we all know, that we need to communicate with others, other things, like communicate with each other, maybe communication with somebody who is far off, we need to keep contact, or somebody in nearby. So communication is a big tool we have, and human being on planet Earth. So, and there are many ways to communicate. So mostly for us, the practical level. So we communicate normally through talk. We speak how we need to communicate, or we write. Earlier, we used to write on a piece of paper or something. It has been converted in, because technology advanced. We now communicate through the digital means, keyboard. But anyway, those are all writings. And in addition to that, there are many ways of the communications are there. Like it can be some kind of gestures or signal. There in also in the like a talking also, or writing also, there are multiple languages are there. So different types of languages we use for communication purposes. So there are plenty. So I need not to go into the detail. That first thing we need to communicate, no doubt about it. We communicate to others, communicate to each other, and things like that. So, and that the communication with someone which is in close proximity or far off, so based on which our mode of communication changes, but we do need to communicate, on different areas, our family, our professional life, with the society, and all that, to keep in social contact. The social media has developed all around. So communication, basically, it is in a two-way channel where some messages are being back and forth, has been coming, and that's how we communicate. So that's all of us, we know that there's communication. But today's topic is it come as a contradictory. It is saying communication power of silence. Yeah. So we normally, silence is use absence of communication. That's how the silence means. Somebody is silent. He or she kept mum or silent means not communicating. Okay. So then where the communication power coming? Forget about. So it is traditionally or normally it is silence means not communicating. And from where the communication comes, and that to the power of communication comes. So that we'll discuss today in detail. So, and we'll go by, one by one the bullet points, then it will be clear for you that what is meant by that communication power of silence. So now as we were discussing, from where the communication starts, the communication basically starts, from our birth. After birth, a child normally cries first. That is the first communication one child makes to the external world. Maybe show his or her presence, or that's how they communicate first, attention. So this part is, well known, and then slowly the child, other than started, talking few words, and those are people sometimes record them, so it very papa mama, yeah, gigi, this kind of sound they make, those kind of things are the initial communication of a child. Yeah? And then finally the child, first thing the child pick up is the mother tongue, like whatever the parents are talking, that same language they picked up. And that you can say that's how it is normally told, our mother tongue. So even though in the society mother tongue has a greater the ramifications like the places of origin, but in this case let us consider whatever the language the parents are speaking and the same language the child picked up, and for that the child need not to know the logic and the grammar of all those kind of things. Just simply child picks it up from listening to the various words spoken around him or her, and that's how the mother language thing starts, and child speaks in the same language. So no matter the way the parents are talking, if they talk in some language which is not the mother tongue of the parent, but doesn't matter, that language it is spoken, that becomes picked up by the child. So that's what I'm saying. The mother tongue, with connection with the origin of people, from which state they are coming, etc. That is, in this case, in this context, that is not what is meant. When meant is what the parents are talking, the same language they picked it up. Yeah. Okay, so that is our natural tendency, because we pick up those, and that later on that we use, that we learn more words and we can communicate. I mean, child they communicate, better, and then start the other learning, other way of communication, like the writing, etc. Learn the language and how to write it, how to form a sentence, etc. Those have been learned, and the written communication starts, and so on and so forth. And then the whole education theme is all about communicating, and through communication learning. So that's like reading and other things come into play, or sometimes there's some practical things they learn. So those kind of things are there. So, but everywhere the communication is important. Means otherwise, the so-called knowledge, the external external world, we cannot operate without gathering those kind of knowledge, the practical knowledge, the theoretical knowledge, and the languages and things like that. So that through the communication, we develop those kind of skills, or we increase our knowledge and things like that. And just while suppose, let us take the talking, but what is the fundamental first thing we learn about the way to communicate, as I explained about the child. And so all of us, we hold these things rest of our lives. Of course, that there is some exceptions of who cannot talk, like because of the physical reason, medical reason. I'm not talking about them, but otherwise, in general, the first thing the child learned to communicate is through talking, and we keep that for the lifelong. Now, just to scientifically know, while talking, what are our physical body faculties are being used. So, of course, there's a tongue, the lips are used, and there is the breathing control involved. A certain way we have to breathe while talking, or inhale or exhale in a certain way during talking, and time to time you have to gasp, you have to take breath and further go on. So the breathing system is equally involved. And at the same time, whatever we talk, it needs to make sense. Like, forget about the initial, few months of a child, which may not make sense. Maybe it makes sense to the child, but not to the world. But while making when the child learns to make some kind of meaningful words to communicate its own feeling or whatever the child wants and things like that. So that which I'm saying, it continues till rest of our life. But during that time, also see what are the things are operating at the same time. Okay, our vocal system, like tongue, mouth, lips, and vocal cord. Yeah, so which is called Adam's apple here. Those are definitely, because this vocal cord control the air, and that creates the sound. Also, we during the whole process, our brain is fully active to control the whole process. It controls the physical aspect, like a synchronization and all those kind of things. And while talking, that including the facial expressions, and it also helps us to pick up the right words, what we feel to convey. And there are, hundreds of thoughts passing through that time to support that kind of the communication process. And not only thoughts, it also taps into the memory. While talking, we refer to the memory, similar experiences, and all effort is to make communication meaningful. Okay, so that is so that whatever I learned, suppose the educational thing, whatever we learned in the schools, etc., those have been called, because that is those are retained in our memory. So this kind of things are parallelly, we can say these are parallel processing. Those things are parallelly going on in our brain, and at the same time, that physically all the organs, what I mentioned, it is there to make this communication possible. Or of course, we are communicating to someone, and then we need to also listen in parallel time to time. So whole thing, this process, it's a bit complicated process, but we do manage. Just as we learn from the childhood, we manage to do that. So it is. And also, over the period of time, we are develop our own way of talking, our own style, our own individuality. Those things are also there. So it's the whole package is all. Not only I'm saying, not only our this vocal instrument is involved, the brain is equally involved. The memory and other faculties of the brain, those are contributing to make the communication successful. So that's how we normally. While talking, those are being used. Just for important part is, as I was mentioned a little earlier, is some people, they may not talk, maybe from birth or something, because of medical reasons. And that medical reason normally about the vocal cord. Their vocal cord is not operating properly, so that's why they cannot talk properly. Yeah. So it is about the throat-related issue. So just remember that it is the physical talking involves our voice box in the throat. I will come back to that, and I will correlate with another aspects. Yeah. So, but basically, throat is the most important thing. The vocal cord is the most important thing, while actually the verbal communication when we make with the external world. Okay. Now, also during communication, as I just mentioned, that we need to listen also, because we cannot just keep on talking. That is not the communication. That is the lecturing or announcement. But when we communicate, it is two-way, right? So to make a good communication, yeah. So I'm just coming down step by step for the clarity. So it is equally important not only keep talking, we need to listen also, so that the communication is meaningful or interactive. Yeah? So that means, so during listening, we have to shut our mouth for a certain period of time. Yeah. So because unless until we listen, means brain cannot focus two things at a time. Either it is listening or it's talking. Yeah. So it is programmed that way. So if we are listening, we have to stop talking and then listen and then talk again and think like that. So this way, on and off it continues. But here comes the physical ramifications or implications of silence. Yeah? During communication, even vocal communication, common way of communication, we need to observe silence for a particular spots or the few points so that we can also make the communication meaningful. Keep this part also in the mind. The communication does not mean keep talking. Communication is also mean observing silence for a particular period of time so that we can listen also, and that way the communication became a successful communication. Otherwise, it's just an announcement or it is lecturing, and that is not communication is all about. So, suppose effective communication involves both talking and listening. So tongue and ear both are, these are called karmendriya. Like there are 5 indriyas there. So out of that, the tongue and the ear, these are the 2 faculty, one for listening, one for talking. So both are used alternately to make the communication meaningful. Okay. Okay. Now it's coming about the boundary limitation of vocal communication. So while developing historically, while this verbal communication is good, but what is the limited boundary condition is that the other person to whom we are communicating, so the other person should be in the physical proximity. Means what you are talking, it has got a limitation. Maybe it can go maybe up to 10, 20, 30, maybe 100 meters. If you're shouting 100 or 200 meters maybe, but still there is a limitation. Beyond that, nobody can listen. But we are talking. If we can, same as listening. If I'm listening to someone, as I just mentioned earlier, for the effective communication, so we can also listen to somebody who is far off. So for that, what we do, so in the humanity, we have developed some instruments to support us to reach our voice further. So it was developed, the amplifiers and things like that, microphone and all those kind of things to enhance that power so that it reaches further. So if you are talking in a microphone, the loudspeaker, it can go further, like up to maybe 1 or 2 kilometers away, people can listen to us because it's amplified. If it is a further off, beyond the visual distance, then we have to use the other technology to remotely communicate. For that, like we have the telephone and other things that has been developed, so that we can communicate people with far off. And then nowadays, not only telephone, the video call and other things, like currently the way we are communicating, so all of us sitting in different parts of the world, and by defying time and space, means this thing does not take much time. In the fraction of a second is reaching to you. We can communicate, we can talk over this platform, so video call. So that means that it is possible to that far away communication is possible by using the technology. So all of us, we very well know. So I need not to explain further. So for that, if it is beyond the capacity, the limit of the vocal thing, then there is a limitation how far it can go. Even in this kind of communication where people sitting across the world, maybe other part of the world, say suppose you are sitting there and you are listening to me. So even the device, what you are listening, the technology, what you are using, from that device also, your distance matters. If you go away, maybe 30 meters away from that device, you will not be able to listen, whatever I'm talking, even through the instrument. So there is a limitation. So it's common sense, but I'm just putting it together so that I create the context so that when I go to my actual topic, the power of communication, power of silence. So I will give this kind of references on the which we will come back. So that's what I'm explaining. We all know it. I'm just reiterating it. We are just telling it for the sake of discussion for today. Okay. So basically what I'm saying is that boundary limitation of vocal communication is there. Beyond a certain area or distance, we cannot communicate by this way. Okay, so now it is all about whatever we discussed so far. That is about the external communication, but the normal communication. So whether it is verbal communication or telecommunication, which means like a mobile call or video call or something. Though that is a telecommunication. Telecommunication is a big industry now, so we are now all connected, or no matter physically wherever we are in the world. Yeah, that is understandable. There is no. I don't think I need to explain any further. So that is the thing. But there is a boundary, like physical proximity. Unless until we are in a certain radius, we cannot listen. We cannot communicate. Same with the instrument we are using. We have to be within certain distance of that device, otherwise we'll not be able to communicate. Yeah? So that is what is meant by boundary limitations of vocal communication. Okay, so technically, what is meant by silence? So silence means when all the sounds are stopped. That state is called silence, correct? So if in the when we stop talking, then we are not contributing anything vocally. That means it can be said that I am silent. But the environment, there may be a lot of things are going on. Maybe somebody else is talking. Maybe some music is being played, or there is so many people, the crowd there, some noise is coming, and all those kind of things. So even though I am not talking, still it is possible that I am not in silence because of the proximity factors. Maybe the sound, not me, but generated by something or someone or some group. It's all possible. So when all the sounds, whether it is created by me or in my environment, when all the sounds are stopped, then we say the silence is achieved. So when there is no sound either by me or anybody else into that particular domain, that particular space, that particular room or that particular area, we call that there is a silence in that area or in the silence in the room. Suppose there is a hall auditorium, then nobody is talking, no sound is made, then say the whole auditorium is silent. Yeah, that's how we say, right? So silence means I'm not contributing to disturb the silence. Nobody else is, talking. So no other sound is made from any other sources, like any instrument, music thing, and not being played. And that's how we can say the whole silence is achieved. But this, whatever we discussed so far, and this kind of communication and words and this kind of things, all this what he discussed, it is about the external silence, right? The silence in the external world. Now the spirituality. Now I'm just giving a little bit of the truth. Then I will go to further discussion. Like, what is the difference between the science and spirituality? Say, science is the technique to explore the external world and understand how those things are working and things like that. And any invention and all those kind of things are there. So that is our external world. So exploring what is physical in nature, which can be seen, which can be touched, which can be felt, which can be even heard. And so all five senses, through five senses, whatever we can establish, those are the area under the science. Now, spirituality is about exploring the inner world. It is not physical. It is in the higher dimension. It is not physical. So that is the spirituality. That is a different, that's the inner world, we call it. So in that way, when we say all these things about external world, that means which can be physically observed, perceived, understood, seen, proof available, and things like that in the physical world, and where our five senses can measure, that assess. So those are about the external world. In the inner world, our five senses are useless, okay, because those are not the instrument for our inner world or spiritual. To understand something spiritually, experience something spiritually, these things are of no use, because these are instruments for that. Like a car cannot go to the moon, It is meant for something. It is doing its job. It can, take you faster on the road, etc. But it is not good enough for the space travel. Surface travel is okay. So you need a different kinds of vehicle, different kinds of arrangement, different kind of technology to, say, go to the moon. Same here. Yeah. For external world, the type of vehicle you will use, the way you will communicate, and the things, the technology you will use will be completely different than whatever you use in the inner world. Those parameters are different. The faculties are different. So the instrument is definitely different. So to understand the inner world, which is we call spirituality. So if you want to just make those are also science. Science means exploring and understanding. So you can say the physical science, what is in the physical world, whatever coming under that is the physical science. So then you can say this is a spiritual science. The technique and other things are spiritual. This is also science. Like you have to explore, and all those kind of things are there. But only thing we have to be careful, don't mix these two things. Physical science is different, spiritual science is different. Even, in fact, actually there is a subject which explored the spiritual aspects scientifically. They call it neotic science. Yeah. So there is a lot of research happened. The famous book of Dr. David Hawkins, we refer Power versus Poser. Those are all neotic science research output. Yeah. Those kind of things. Even the Guruji, Dr. Premji Nirmal, he got a doctorate after scientifically studying the effects of the Kriya and meditation on human body. So those are well documented and researched through in the external world, the academic system. So and for spiritual thing, those.
गुड़िया आरती का सेशन चल रहा है चंदा.
Okay, so those kind of things. So those are designations are different, capabilities are different. They call the Rishi, Maharshi, and all these things, Paramahansa, and different kind of things are there. So what I am saying is you cannot compare these two things, but there is an equivalent thing also available in the spirituality. But only thing, but at the moment, as for the discussion is concerned, external silence means the silence in the physical world. What I explained earlier, that we should not be talking ourselves. Nobody else should be talking. No other instrument should be generating any sound. Then only that a particular environment is called observing silence. This is external silence. Absence of sound is external silence. Now we have to, under this context, we have to understand now what is the inner silence. As the inner means it is a spiritual domain. Yeah. And that inner silence is the making the thoughts to zero. No thought zone. When we enter into no thought, that domain is called inner silence. So our mind is chattering all the time. It is not making any sound in the external world. So technically, we are in a silent. We are not talking, but our thought is running. Because the thoughts are running, our inner exploration, whatever we go, the inner world, the inner journey, which is spirituality, we cannot pursue as long as this, our mind is chattering. That's why it is called internal noise or inner noise. So any communication, like, okay, let us understand this way. Any communication in the external world, suppose you can listen what I'm saying. Yeah. Only because there is not much noise in the area you are sitting in right now. Suppose somebody is playing loud music, I don't know, 24,000 watt, some boom, boom, something is, metallic, what is called, the guitar and drums and all these things are being played, maybe 10 meters away from you, where you are sitting in, you will not be able to listen what I'm talking. If some words may get into, you can say something is talking, but you cannot make any sense out of it, right? That means, so far as this communication is concerned, listening is concerned, that sound, that loud music is creating a noise. In this context, it is noise. Maybe somebody is listening, enjoying, or dancing with the music. For them, it is useful stuff. But for you, it is creating noise. No? Same here. Internally, if your thoughts are passing, then you cannot progress further into the spiritual domain. Spiritual communication, it will be meaningless. Maybe it is happening, but it will be meaningless. You cannot make it out. Exactly, this is the reason, as our thoughts are passing, there is some research shows that more than 60,000 thoughts pass through our mind every day. Awake state means, suppose 8 hours you sleep, 16 hours you are awake, all this awake 16 hours full of thoughts. So 60,000 thoughts passing through our mind. You can calculate, average it out of how many, per hour, per minute. So indirectly, we are thinking all the time. And this continuous, as I mentioned, this becomes an inner noise. Also noise, why? Because most of us, we cannot control our thoughts. And that is the reason most of us on planet Earth, or not us, say maybe most of the people on planet Earth, they never had any spiritual experience. Why? Because they never got any window where thoughts are stopped. Okay. If thoughts are keep running, you will not have that. As I just give an example that about the loud music, forget about understanding a, say, 1.5 hour session. You cannot understand anything if it is keep playing and you are in an environment where the loud music are played or many people are talking, maybe 30 for party going on, 30 to 40 people are talking to each other and making noises and things like that. You will not be able to listen properly and understand and make it meaningful communication, right? Same here. Because that mind is always chattering, those are called inner noise. And that is the sole reason why most of the people on planet Earth, they never had any spiritual experience. So the inner noise is the most important part. One is inner noise, and secondly, about bringing the mind to the present moment. So as it is not today's topic, I'm not covering that. Let us only talk about the inner noise. So if the chattering mind is not stopped, you cannot further communicate. Simple. Like if the external noise are not stopped, or you relocate yourself to some area where externally there is a silence, you cannot listen to this properly. Same there. Yeah. Unless until that inner noise is controlled or silenced, the further communication is not possible. So inner silence means there is a no thought in your mind. We call in the spiritual language that you enter into no thought zone. It is also say it is termed as a stillness of mind. If somebody says the mind is still, that means there is an inner silence in the mind, or there is no thought in the mind. Then the person has achieved a no thought zone. At the man means gender neutral. Man means that person is in stillness. Okay, so inner silence. The word for it is stillness. So in spirituality, when they say that the observe stillness, that means it is zero thought in your mind. This is a skill. We need to practice to go there. It will automatically not happen. This is not we programmed from the childhood to no thought and all those things. So main tool we use to meditation, to reduce the number of thoughts. And slowly, your energy level goes up, and finally, one point of time, you'll be able to achieve the no thought zone. Of course, it is for a certain period. Higher level, more go progress into the spirituality, more and more you able to control your thoughts. So this is one of the parameters one can use. Those are called masters when at their will, they switch off their thoughts. And then when you need it, they bring it back. Like a switch on and off a light or any other, ceiling fan or air conditioner. They can switch on and off as per the will. Same here. They have the mastery of doing that. So, again, I will make another, fundamental statement. Your sadhana, you call them, you are into sadhana or all this kind of thing. Your sadhana is nothing but to, developing the skill how to keep your mind in no thought zone. That is the thing. Like that is your sadhana. You started, or seeker. Seeker's sadhana is all about how to control your mind. If somebody can control the mind, like as I said, switch off, no thought. After 10, 15 minutes, no thought. Then, I need to plan something. I need to go to market and do something. Oh, bring the thought back. Then you analyze what is there, what I need to do, and where I will get these items and things. Then again, the brain takes over. Thoughts takes over. That's fine, because we need that to operate in the external world. It is only noise from our spiritual journey or spiritual, part, inner world. But external world, we don't need. We need to operate in the external world. Yeah. So anyway, so that is the kind of thing that your sadhana is nothing but a measure how much control you have over your own thoughts. And mastery means at your will, thought will be stopped, thought will stop. That is the mastery. If somebody can do that, you say, no, I can do that. It is my thought, you try. Your thought means you have full power, full control. Like my car means it will go under my command. Wherever we'll take it, it will go with me. Yeah. So I'm the master, my car is the slave. Same here. If it is your thought, you should be able to start, stop, go to anywhere and things like that. But if that is not the case, if thoughts are overpowering you, even if you don't want it is coming, then thoughts are the master, you are slave. Sadhana is all about how to get out of this slavery and become the master's position so that you can dictate the thoughts. Dictate means you say, stop now, start now. So that is the kind of thing. If you can do that, then you are already a master. You don't need any sadhana. Okay. Absolutely nothing. No kriya, no meditation, nothing needed. You are a master. Huh? So some people ask me, how do I know that whether I am enlightened or not? So I said, this simple test. You see, if you can do that at your will, stop your thought, you are enlightened. Finish. Okay. If you cannot, means you have to work in progress. It is, you need more sadhana. That's what it means. No comparison, no, everybody's path is unique. But the question is, how do I know that whether I'm enlightened or not? So this is the measure. You check whether you can do it or not. If you can, you are. Okay, you are a master. Anyway, so let us go further, and I hope this is understandable. That what is called inner Silence means it is absence of thoughts in the mind. Awake state. We are not talking sleeping. If your body is fully alert and aware, but mind is no thought, that is called stillness. Stillness is a requirement for communicating with the higher dimension, or to start with our own higher self. Those points I'm coming now. So why we need inner silence? So just now what I mentioned that we need for our spiritual development, we need inner silence because that is the starting point. Means this is the prerequisite for further communication. Like for air travel, we need to get into the aeroplane, then only it will take us further. No, so there is a requirement is there. You need to complete all the formalities and sit in the aeroplane. Then only the flight it will take you. So just by thinking, you will not go anywhere. Same here. By thinking, you cannot progress spiritually. No matter what you think you are. It's not possible unless until you get this boarding pass, like stillness of mind. Otherwise, it's not possible. So what the masters do when they guide, at least they guide them to a level, at least for a shorter period of time, you experience that. And to sustain that, you need some sadhana, but if not, we will slowly go back to the normal thing. So this kind of experiences, the glimpses of enlightenment, this is called Satori experience, that any master can give it to others. Sustained enlightenment cannot be given. For that, you need sadhana. Like for you to maintain your health, you need to eat food. Somebody else can give you food for maybe 1 or 2 times, but you have to eat yourself. So you have to continue that as long as you have to maintain your physical body. Same here. You have to do your own effort to make it effort to sustain that stillness. Stillness is at your will. I'm not saying don't think at all. No, when you need it, you bring it. But unnecessary, most of the time, 95% of the time, thoughts are going on their mind that they are unnecessary. There are even no practical utility. Those 95%, what people do, either they grudge something happened in the past or worry about the future. That is a characteristic of mind. All the time, the mind is engaged. 95% of the time, they're engaged into all this kind of things. So anyway, so that means we come back to our inner silence, that why we need inner silence, because we need for our spiritual progress, that is a prerequisite to silence our mind. So the environment is clear. Yeah. Like in a classroom, teacher comes and say, silence, silence, means maybe students are chattering. And now I'm not talking online classes. I'm saying that even online classes, people are asked to mute that, no? Because if there is many people are talking and some other sound is coming, this communication is not possible. Education is not possible. The class, the teacher says silent, silent, and then even the courtroom, the judge says silent, silent, and then so that whatever is communicated, everybody understand that. Same is that inner silence is a prerequisite to have your further journey, further knowledge, further gathering. But if it is full of sounds and noises, it is not possible. Same here. So that is the purpose of inner silence. Inner silence or stillness of mind is needed for you to have further experience on spirituality. As I mentioned earlier, that most of the people on planet Earth, they never had any spiritual experience just because of that. They never found any window in awake state where the thoughts are not running. That's why they never experience. Yeah, it's quite common. So that's why this understanding is needed, that it is, as long as thoughts are running, you cannot have that experience. Because it is like, I give an example, like in a classroom, say, setup. In a blackboard, say, many things are already written by chalk. Maybe last 1 year, people came and written something. So whole thing on the blackboard, what it contains, looks like a junk. and you now come and write another sentence on top of it or draw some diagram, nobody will do make it out of it, right? Because already there are many things on the board. You added one more. That's all. That it cannot be meaningful. Same here. If thoughts are running, hundreds of thoughts, as I mentioned, 60,000 thoughts per day it goes. So those many thoughts continuously running, and on top of it, further, what is soul communication? You will not be able to distinguish this is soul's communication. So that is how. That is the purpose. That is the importance of that. Why we need inner silence or stillness we need for communicating, to have any spiritual experience. You start with communicating with ourselves in our higher self. So those are the kind of thing. Okay, the nature of communication in silence. So now we come to a stage where we can actually talk about today's topic. The communication power of silence. So this silence is inner silence. External silence, obviously, if we keep talking, brain is working, thoughts are flowing. As I mentioned in the previous part, 15 minutes away before, if we are talking, forget about it. No spiritual experience is possible while you are talking. You have to shut up your mouth. You have to silence yourself. Then you have to choose an area which is externally silent. Then only this pursue, go into the meditation, then have control over this inner silence. Once it is achieved, even for a shorter period, doesn't matter. It needs practice. If we achieve that, then only the inner communication starts. The nature of communication, how this inner communication happens. Definitely that it is not what is called talking. It is not talking or sending SMS or writing email. Definitely not that. So what is that? Okay, how that happens? Why we need that inner silence or the stillness of mind to communicate? Because all inner communication, or inner means equivalent to spiritual, as I explained earlier, all inner communication happens using your mind space only. Your same mind space. What your other thoughts are roaming around here and there, and all this intellect and memory and all this being played, same space, same platform is used for inner communication. First with your higher self or with your soul. So first thing our duty is to make this platform clean. That's what I have given example of the blackboard. So if you want to write something, a new class starts. So first, it is duty of the teacher to come and, clean the board. No need to write anything on top of many other things already written on the board. And that processing is inner silence. Inner silence is the preparation so that you can have further higher communication. Inner communication, higher communication, same means. Higher means higher dimension. To be more specific, higher of what? What is lower than? If it is that is higher. So to technically understand, lower dimension is three-dimensional reality. Okay. What can be perceived through five senses? We can see it, touch it, and things like that. So anything in the inner world or thing, it is not in the physical dimension, not in the three-dimensional reality. So which is beyond this three-dimensional reality, that is called higher dimension. This is one dimension, one plane, not plane, three-dimensional reality. But it does not mean the other dimension does not exist. That is why always there is a question, because the so-called science, physical science, cannot estimate what is there in the spiritual domain. That's why always they say it is illusion, it is this and that, because they don't have a proof in the external world. I have a famous interaction with a medical scientist in 2015 in Jupiter Hospital, Thane, in Maharashtra. So when the challenge that when I was sharing my spiritual experiences and asking them that this is the different types of experiences and all those things, so they're all doctors and even PhD in medical sciences, so research fellows, So they challenged me and they said, no, as per WHO guideline, we cannot accept whatever is, there is no proof. I said, what do you need a proof? Proof? We said, hard evidence. Other than that, it is as per WHO guideline, we cannot accept that as any event even, like no such thing. So it is, they say basically it is, what is the term? One guy was so angry with me, he used, is a chemically induced hallucination, all those kind of spiritual experiences. What does that mean? Chemically induced hallucination. It is some chemical, means drug, smoke, or something has been put into the body, and then you start hallucinating. Those are the experience of the spirituality. That's what he told. Then I told to give them understanding. So I was smiling. I understand from where he is coming. Yeah. I didn't defend or I didn't, get offended. So many people saying, how come you are on the stage and he is telling the chemically induced hallucination, all your spiritual stuff. How come you did not get angry with this kind of, it's an insult. I said, no, I don't take the insult. I don't take, if I am gotten angry, then whatever I'm saying, the changes happened, it truly did not happen. Right? If I get angry with minor provocation, doesn't matter. It's okay. I understand from where it is where he is coming. Then I told, all right, fine. You need a proof of, because of course, when I cannot give that proof you are, asking for, hard evidence, I cannot give. But let me just, all this audience, you are respected scientists and the doctors, and huge experience and all those kind of, they themselves have research papers and all those kind of stuff. Yeah. So I said, okay, fine. Just forget about this for the time being. I have told this story many times before, but again, it is relevant to talk again here so that it is clear that what we are talking to those doctors and the scientists, medical scientists. I said, just raise your hand. How many of you has had a dream last night? Any dream, no need to share. Just you say yes or no. Raise your hand. So all the people, they raise their hand. Everybody has seen some dream last night. I said, fine. So I will come back here in this auditorium tomorrow, in your hospital tomorrow again. So tonight, you are going to sleep and you will again have a dream, no? You just record them in a video, maybe short clip, 10 minutes video, and tomorrow we'll assemble again and show me that hard evidence that whatever you saw in your dream. So they said, how it is possible? It's not possible. I said, but it is truth, right? All of you experience. For you, I'm saying the spiritual experience happened to me. It's a claim. Of course, you don't know that what I had. True. But all of you now raised hands that you had dream. Yeah. Only thing I'm asking, as per WHO guideline, give me the evidence, hard evidence of the dream, 10 minutes clip of that. Record in any recording instrument, the video recording or CD or whatever you do. You show me this is what I saw in the dream that night. Yeah. So then there is, it hit to their core, they just, so how it's possible. Then they say, okay, now there is no instrument has developed to record that. I said, but it is the truth, no? All of you experienced it. So it is your truth. Somebody is not saying that, during the sleep you had chemical induced hallucination. Okay. Or sleep-induced hallucination. Nobody's saying that. No? You did have that experience of dream. Only thing you cannot produce. So, as per our collective experience, what we had, we can conclude there are experiences we undergo as a human being where hard evidence cannot be produced. Let us agree with that. They said, yes, that is agree. So I said, I'm just only asking you, open the possibility. What you are saying, there's no way to record it. That is as of now. Maybe in future, some equipment will be developed, some probes will be developed, some devices will be developed, which can actually record the dreams. Why not? And same as the spirituality, maybe in future something will develop which can experience which can record the spiritual experience. I came here only to keep that window open. It is an area of research. Not yet. I don't have that evidence as of today, as per WHO guideline. But I came here just to say, keep it open. Just maybe some research will be done. First, you have to start with something. I can offer myself as a guinea pig. You do the test. You get placebo, you take a normal person who never had any spiritual experience, and me, I do take any number of tests you want, or track it, or whatever, I don't know, method you follow. And then you, through a research, it can be established that, yes, these are something, higher experiences are possible. So my purpose is served if you say, yes, I'm open to that, rather than shutting the door saying that all of them are chemically induced hallucination. Okay. Anyway, they accepted it, but not in that hall. Later on, some senior doctors met me personally or send me messages and all. Some of them even got initiated into Kriya and meditation of themselves. Yeah. So healing have been done. I visited that hospital to the patients and even cancer patients. Some of the cancer patients even recovered from the condition. They said this nobody. Doctor given few months at life, and after a few years I visited another Guruji's program, and one gentleman came and touching my feet in pajama kurta, white pajama. He's in mid-50s and all. I said, what you are doing? So he said, you will not know me, but you saved my life. So you came and healing, and I think I paid some. They cannot pay their medical bill, or some money I paid, transferred there, and all those things. Anyway, I've forgotten also all those kind of things. Like he said, who am I to do that? All Babaji's grace. So you are. So anyway, so that is a different issue. But what I'm saying is, that was the background. So it is futile to ask our communication with the spiritual domain in the physical terms. It's not possible. Don't even think of it. It's a wastage of time. That's why I given the full story to understand why it is futile exercise. So now this communication, we start with our own higher self, and the topic where we are discussing is how we communicate. We use our mind space, and communication happens through thought reading. Like you send we call it energetic form of thoughts, like intention. That is your question. You need to know something. Then keep your mind still, thoughtless state. And next, another thing comes into your mind as a form of thought. That thought is the answer. It's a skill you can develop. So one by one, you send your intention, get another thought pass through your mind, this is the answer. Then how do you know this is the answer? Because that was not created by you. So suppose you send some question, say, I got 2 job offers, which one will be good for me? Then one particular you pick up the second one or something of that company. These are all your thoughts. Huh? So first you ask question, which will be good for me? And that second part, what is come, why that is, I'm saying that is answer. Why that is answer? Because you didn't create it. That is not originated by you. That is your message. Yeah. Over the period of time, slowly we do that, and that's how it is a skill. The communication skill develops. This communication, the method of communication, is a thought reading. It is like back and forth, sending and receiving thoughts, and that we develop the skill. Then it can be initially it started into the what is called during meditation, but later on, slowly you develop. Anytime you'll be able to do it. Even the masters, even without closing eyes, even while talking, they can parallelly communicate with the other dimension. With soul consciousness, then further angels, guides, and all, it's all possible. Or even deities, the ascended masters and all those dimensions, they can communicate on live. So to all the masters, whatever they communicate, those are all channeled. Okay, they don't say from their memory. So they just connect and it flow through that person, the master. That's it. Yeah. So those all happens through that faculty of that communication in silence. Yeah. So nature of communication in silence is, first you have to, that is the background to keep your mind still. Then this communication starts. Okay. Next is what is meant by listening to the whispers from beyond. Okay, here also there is another aspect. It is a part of our the inner communication, thought reading only. What we have been receiving from our higher self or the masters, those are not very loud. Like you cannot listen something. Okay, those are been like as I mentioned, thought reading. Yes, maybe one line this comes, but that one line reveals itself. But the meaning gets downloaded. I call it. You get the meaning also, even though it is not a big paragraph. But you get that through that message, you can receive that what is meant to be, and you understand that what is meant to do that. Whole thing happens is it's so mild, and you need to enhance your sensitivity, or sensitivity, you can say, so that you can listen and listen means again not listening by ear, by your thoughts. You just have to sensitivity have to increase so that you can understand that, and these mild things what you receive, which is called whispers from beyond. Like some people is whispering. Unless until it is completely silent, you cannot listen to any whisper, right? That level of inner silence is needed to listen to anything coming from the higher dimension. So that is called whispers from beyond. So it is not very loud. It is not very clear. My understanding is clear, but content is not clear. Even let me share with you, more higher the master, that much cryptic the message is. Okay. When Babaji communicates something, hardly 2-3 words, but the meaning get downloaded. Many methods come from Babaji. Okay, let me give an example. During COVID time, Babaji has sent some method, Vajrakaya, something, one mantra and all kind of things, a few words, 2-3 words, like I think 4-5 words, one mantra kind of thing. But with that, how to do that, when to do that, what will be the benefit of doing that, and what is the pros and cons, and what to do, not to do, all this full method. After that, that method, which came like a fraction of a second, just I think 2 lines, not fraction of a second, maybe 1 or 2 seconds, cryptic message, like not any detail. I have to decode them, and I need to have, I think, about the full session to explain how to do it. Okay. Whatever I was told, this is the way to save yourself from COVID. The methodology, the technology, the procedure, then I developed and conveyed to all of you, and many of you may remember, you practiced also. But that when it came in a few seconds. So Babaji need not to send me a thesis, basically I'm saying. But I need to create it. It's my duty to convert it into the language where everybody can understand, step by step. That is my duty. That's what I was doing. All these Mahakriyas, except of course not water and fire, that came to Guruji, Premji Nirma. Other one, those other 3, that air, earth, and space, these 3 came by Babaji like that. Some cryptic message, and I developed the methodology. And then now you are practicing. I explained during our camps how to do it. Yeah? That is not a 1 fraction of a second matter, right? It's not a 1 second thing. It is some process is there. All those came, but when it came to me, it came in a fraction of a second. What need to be done? That's it. So that's what I call the cryptic message is sent, but it is when it is downloaded, the knowingness comes with it. I know exactly what Babaji asked me to do it, but Babaji need not to explain it in detail. This only possible when your spiritual sensitivity is high. Otherwise, you will miss it. This kind of coded thing, cryptic language, you will miss it. For that you need sadhana to understand all those kind of things and make it a meaningful and deliver it to the humanity. So, if you don't understand, how do you deliver? First thing you need to understand. So your sensitivity should be high. You should be able to decode all those kind of things and then convert it into another form so that you can, present to others in a meaningful, understandable way. Okay. Anyway, that is called Whispers from Beyond. Then, okay, here comes another interesting thing, role of throat chakra. So now, as I was mentioning earlier while discussing on vocal cord, etc., our communication tool with the external world, and I said that remember that about this methodology, I will come back again. Here is the track. In this location, other than voice box, we also have throat chakra, Visuddhi. Visuddhi chakra. It is just, behind the voice box. Yeah. Many people, they think that when the throat chakra opens, you are becoming good, you can talk nicely, sweet talks and all those things. Maybe that is some truth in it. Maybe it gets more polished way of communication with the external world. Talking gets polished, but that is not the purpose of throat chakra. Throat chakra, see, heart chakra, when heart chakra opens, you go from logical mind business to the feeling business. We call it love and above. It opens unconditional love faculty within you. So your spiritual journey starts from here, heart chakra opening. All the people, the lower 3 chakras are normally open. That survival instinct, the root chakra, then desires, all kinds of desires. Yeah? Those are the second one, and third one is ambition. Manipura, high ambition, and also all of us, we know how the world operates. They operate through these 3 chakras. Yeah? Anyway, those who have heart chakra open, then their spiritual journey starts from there. We call it love and above frequency. It's a vibration. So you know all the 7 chakras. So when heart chakra opens, our spiritual journey starts. After that, next goal is through spiritual practices to communicate with our own soul, right? That is the purpose of spirituality. First communicate. Soul is connected to all higher dimensions. It comes later on. So throat chakra establishes communication with the higher dimension to start with our own soul. So the active throat chakra does not mean you have a good verbal skills. Okay. It means that your communication with further higher chakras and all, those are developed. This instrument, physical body, is ready for communication with the higher dimension when throat chakra opens. So it is not communication to the external world, it's throat chakra communication to the inner world. Understand the difference? Yeah. Don't confuse the throat chakra is used, then when activate we can talk better. That's not the purpose of throat chakra. Maybe we can talk better, but for that you don't need the throat chakra to open. Opening throat chakra is the communication with your higher self or the higher dimensions or all the inner world. Yeah. And that thing, this communication happens in silence. Of course, physical silence, no talking that time. Also, the inner silence, the stillness. Otherwise, this communication will not be meaningful. That I just explained a few minutes back. So our throat chakra governs the communication. You can say the communication between 3 dimension to higher dimensions. That's what it is. It's a communication device between interdimensional communication, not nice talking and become a good orator and thing. No, that can be a byproduct. I'm not saying nothing happens. Your way of means your way of approach to life change. Your like a clarity and purity of words automatically come. Bak suddhi, okay, automatically comes. But that is not the purpose of the throat chakra. Throat chakra is a communication with the higher dimensions. Okay, so with throat chakra opens means your communication channel is open. It's on. All the experiences or inner experiences, higher dimensional experiences you can receive because you already established your spiritual thing by heart chakra and throat chakra. Does that. So that is about the throat area implication. So same throat area, the vocal cord is responsible for most of the communication with the external world, and same area, the another faculty, the throat chakra or that visuddhi, and it is responsible for the communication in the inner world. Okay, that is the role of throat chakra. Now tapping into the power of higher self. So now, as I mentioned, when the throat chakra opens, you get into communication with your higher self or soul consciousness that opens up. And your soul knows everything. Everything means everything. Whatever you can think of, your soul already know it. Okay. Also, many things you don't know, your soul knows. Higher dimensional aspects and all. And I call it even your life you don't know, but your soul knows everything, your future and all these things, purpose of this life, etc. Anyway, so this communication will make you to understand those which is available in the inner world, which is in the spiritual domain. It's not in the physical domain. Your soul can download it, and then soul can decode it and give it to you. So for doing that, you need that communication with your own soul. So this kind of communication happens in silence. External silence, yes, also inner silence. The mind should not chattering all the time. Stillness, that is a prerequisite to have this kind of communication. So first thing you communicate with your own higher self. This only possible when you already achieved or during this process, your mind should be still. That's what I was explaining why, most of the people on planet Earth, they never have any spiritual experience. And those group of, the medical scientists, etc., because they never had their, the mind silenced for a single second. So how come this kind of experience are not possible? Anyway, so that means as your soul knows everything, by these means like through silencing and throat chakra and all those kind of things, you are establishing that communication. So basically, when you were able to communicate, and then the next part is about going into the experience of that. That means when you do that, your power will be equivalent to the power of your higher self or soul consciousness. That is called the tapping into the power of higher self. So this communication, this is the power you achieve. That is the tapping into the power of the soul through the communication, and that communication happens in silence. That's what exactly meant by our topic today. Communication power of silence. Unless until it is silent, externally, of course, even internally, then only you'll be able to communicate with your soul, and then only you will be able to use the power of your soul, which is a spiritual power, or the knowledge, universal knowledge and all those kind of things. Those powers are only possible during the silence. So silence is a prerequisite to have this, to experience that power. So this is a power of self. Yeah, it is also called. You don't need any other power from anyone else or anything else. You have a huge amount of power, only it is not tapped. Once you know the technology, how to tap into your own higher power, that's it. You don't need anything else for that one. Okay, the next point is about experiencing vibrating silence. Okay, silence we understand, but what is vibrating silence? Now we've gone into the complete into spiritual domain. Okay. This is the next stage. What we achieve through the communication with our own higher self. We achieve to the finally going to the state called the vibrating silence. Why vibrating? Yeah. As I mentioned, silence has no content, right? There's no sound, means we call it silence, external world. Even inner world, when you tap into that, all those things, then you start experiencing your higher dimensional realm. Yeah. All experience of higher dimension. You may start communicating with the higher dimensional masters and ascended masters and entities and whatnot through your soul. Communication is happening. And those knowledges, the universal knowledge, get downloaded and all those kind of things. So that leads to some state called vibrating silence. This aspect, many masters explain in a different way. Yeah. That is called, there is no such goal. Actually, the goal is nothingness. Here I am giving, it is a, you go into the vibrating silence. So what is the difference between, of course, these are inner now we are talking, nothing external we are talking. Silence means there is no content. But why vibrating? This part is, we need to experience, it is an energetic silence. It is not a dumb silence. It is not like a silence you get bored and you're going to sleep. It's not like that. Okay, it's high potential silence. And that silence, that vibration is felt, no content, nothing to see, nothing to understand. And that state is not absence of, means not absence, means not like a blackout. Blackout is also is there. That's called void or limbo. No, I'm not talking about that. You will get confused. What I'm saying is, through your sadhana, when you establish your soul connection, many experiences will happen. Of course, that time your mind, inner silence is meant, stillness is there. Otherwise, experience would not have possible. But when you go into further higher sadhana and all those kind of things, many experience and calm and it will go. Many higher level faculty opens up for you. You got many abilities. You understand many things, but normally is not possible to understand. You got ability, like a healing ability and all those things. Those are called siddhis, like a spiritual attainment. Okay. But beyond that, if you keep moving, you landed up into a zone where it is vibrating silence, in nothing, no content. One point of time, even your spiritual experiences also will stop. Means it's done. You can have any time if you want, at your will. You can download, start happening. But you come to that, all your questions are answered or inner thing has happened. Externally, maybe you will go into the silence period that time. But that is external silence period of part of the spiritual progress. But within you, what is happening? You attain a state when all your questions are answered. Nothing else to know. Nothing else to do. Doing part has gone much before that. Then where you are in a stage of vibrating silence. High potential silence. I think in Sanskrit it's called kinchit chalata or something, exact word I'm missing now. That is a state in the Sanskrit, they say, that is the state, vibrating silence. Fully alert, fully aware, highly energetic, but no content. Even your experience stops. First time when I had this experience, so then I was that time I used to do 2 hours Kriya and meditation in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, daily. And then earlier I used to have very wonderful experiences and this and that and all those things. And then it stopped. Means nothing. You can say it's a blank. I said, okay, never mind. Move on. Few days, no content, nothing. Complete blank. Yeah. I'm just meditating for 1.5 hours, maybe. Nothing. Okay. 1 week, nothing happened. 2 weeks, no. But I was thinking, no, I should not, give up. I should continue. And not to give up business, continued for week after week. When about 45, 1.5 months crossed, then I have some feeling that I may be doing something wrong. How come? Because I already experienced, what are the things come during meditation. I cannot miss it. Means something came, something didn't. It is not that series of things, even communication, answer questions, and deities coming, blessing, and all those kind of things. But why this blank? So then I prayed to Babaji, what's strong with me and why I'm not getting anything. Okay, by the way, that time communication with Babaji has not started. Means two-way communication. That come much later. It's only one time praying. Then I, got some messages. You fool, that is the state you wanted to achieve. Now I know it was Babaji who came and told me that. Means this is the highest state of your meditation. No content. Okay. Complete blank. As I was telling many master, give it like a peeling of the onion. Keep peeling off. You will not get anything. When all the things are peeled off onion, inside there is nothing. Okay. But you achieved your goal. All layers are gone. But you achieved at the core. But it does not have any content. So, from that understanding, that where we experience that is called vibrating silence. Okay, there's no content. At one point of time, even your spiritual experience ceases generating. Not experience, the content will stop generating. Then you achieve a certain state. What is your silence in the highest level of spiritual domain? Where even your experience are not happening. Means experience contents are happening. Experience, of course, if there's nothing, that is also an experience. Yeah. No content, experience happening. Then you reach to the vibrating silence. It is much, much above than stillness. Those kind of silence in the deep spiritual domain, that is the ultimate level you can go through this meditation. And then last point, what is about, it must sound irrelevant, accessing the code of creation. So why this is last point? Accessing the code of creation, what is to do with our topic today? That is, what is that? The communication power of silence. What that give you? Just now what I explained, that vibrating silence, kinchit chalata or something in Sanskrit, that state only you can experience oneness. That you can experience oneness means you are experiencing like the same as the creator. To have that, you need to go into that state where there is no content, vibrating silence. State of the creator, and you exactly understand how this physical universe was created. Created out of nothing. This is the state of the creator of that state, you experience. That is the oneness experience. What is, during the creation of this universe, what the creator's field was. It is eternal now. Was is not the correct word, but for our understanding, say it happened maybe long time back. So that's what I'm saying. Well, it is eternal now. There is no higher dimension, no time and space. Okay. But you can have that oneness experience, how it is the creator's experience. And that creator's experience you can have only going into this vibrating silence. There is no content. You will not understand anything because those content you cannot see in this world. Only you can feel 100% how it was felt to to create that kind of level, infinite joy, infinite power, Ichha Shakti, Gyan Shakti, all those things, all knowledge, omnipotent, omni-knowledge and everything. How it feels like you'll get through this vibrating silence. And through vibrating silence, you can decode that code of creation. Not decode, you can experience for a short while, but that's fine. But you can experience that. That is the way to break that code of creation. And that's what then you will experience Soham, I am that. The I am consciousness. Yeah. That you can experience only through operating in this vibrating silence. You can just simply experience it. It cannot be explained. It cannot be talked about. It cannot be written. It can only be felt. So the moment you start explaining it, it loses everything. Like not even one person can be explained. That many, when you praise the God and so, say Ganeshji and all say, there is some bhajan or something, it is written, Surya Koti Samaprabha, means it's the glowing like 1 crore sun. Can you imagine that level? Not in single sun, we cannot look straight. And there is certain level, some photography thing that becomes black, means it is beyond its range. It cannot take that high intensity light. So if that is Surya Koti, means crore of that, you can understand what is the level of energy and the brightness it is having. And how do you explain that? Surya Koti, do you think Surya Koti Samaprabha, definitely some Rishi Muni are given this terminology, but do you think just telling Surya Koti Samaprabha, you understand what kind of level that Prakash is, that particular, the energy is, the light is? You cannot, not even a 0.001%, you can feel what it feels like truly Surya Koti Samaprabha. Okay. Because you cannot handle only one sun. Humans, common people. You cannot explain. You cannot even give. Okay, Surya Koti Samaprabha gives you a little bit nearer to think about kind of experience you can have there, which cannot be told, which will be, whatever, just like even Surya Koti Samaprabha, whatever you explain, that will be also fika lagega. Means it is not, it cannot get that experience. Yeah, good attempt, but okay. It cannot like that. Okay. Again, that only it is possible to experience that kind of energy, that kind of level, that kind of understanding when you achieved the vibrating silence. On that state, you can have this kind of oneness experiences, and it will be your truth, your experience. Yeah, no need to say or explain on this. No need. It's okay. Nobody will understand also, and you don't have any word to explain also. As I said, Surya Koti Samaprabha. It's okay. Means I feel it's not to even to attempt it. Let it be something, only to experience, not to told, not to share, not to do anything of that nature. But only what I'm saying is that experience, the door is vibrating silence. That is the unlock, the key to that area, the domain. So that is what I meant, the code of creation. You enter into that zone only through vibrating silence. With this, I'll conclude our today's session. So if you have any question, you're welcome to ask me. And let me save the attendance. Meanwhile, raise your hand if you like to ask any question. Okay, I saved the attendance. No hand? Okay. Chaitali, go ahead. I was thinking everybody gone into vibrating silence. All right. Go ahead.
Thank you, Guruji, for the beautiful session and pranam. I don't know my question is relevant or not. I want to know that without my knowledge, my higher self can communicate with others.
Not normal. Not normal. You have self communicating with others. If others you mean in the external world, definitely not. If your intention is whether higher masters and other, yes. Without your knowing means you have not established that communication fully. That's why. Otherwise, you can know to whom your higher self is communicating. Okay, so external world, your higher self is not communicating to anybody else because for that you are there. You are the representative. Suppose like some office, they have an agency, no, so a branch into some place. Say suppose a bank. A bank is having a branch in a city. Suppose they have a branch in say Nasik. Okay, Nasik branch. So already they have a branch. Why they will, the head office will communicate through any other channel? They say you come through the branch. No? We have a branch there. You do whatever business you want from there. Same here. But the same, the bank, they may communicate with some, maybe some New York exchange or other, the bank and all those kind of things. They can have direct with any other higher level, not the same purpose. Okay.
Yes, Guruji, but I want to know that, I'm talking about myself. I am not that much evolved still now in spiritual path. I'm started just walking in this path. So if my higher self is communicating with other masters, though, then what is the point if I don't know what my higher self is getting the knowledge? I don't know
No,
whether
your
I asked
higher
the
self
right
knows
question.
everything. It's not getting the knowledge. Your higher self knows everything. It doesn't need to know anything else from anywhere. Question is whether you like to know something, it can take you there. It's when you are ready. That's it. Your higher self knows it. It has traveled already all the places and things like that. It's nothing else to go. Forget about leaving you and going. It's not what it is doing. It's try to help you. When you are ready, then only it will, take you there. That's what.
Okay.
It is waiting for you and you ask for it.
Okay. So I want to know one more thing. I want to know, my mother is no more. So if I want to communicate with my mother, that means
Yeah.
my higher self will communicate with mother?
Oh, of course. Your higher self will communicate to your mother's higher self. And then the return, it will download it to you. Yes, that is why it is communicating. It doesn't matter. Your mother is not in physical body. Higher self is there. Soul consciousness is there. So to communicate at that level, you have to use your higher self to communicate.
Okay.
Okay,
So I will
means
not.
see any kind of telecommunication. What we do, whatever we need to say, we give it to our instrument. No, we don't talk directly. Instrument makes it a signal, pass it to whatever satellite or whatever it is in another state, another country. The person receiving, then they decode it and give it as a sound, then they listen to your voice. So means if you are not speaking, what is the point in communicating that? On its own, this mobile device does not generate unnecessarily talking to somebody. No? When I am willing, I'm trying to call, then it establishes the connection. And in between, the instrument goes as a tool so that they can communicate. Same over soul.
Okay.
It's only in the different domain. So that their higher self will communicate here and then pass on your message and then decode it and things like that. And that's how it works there.
Okay. So when I will connect to my higher self, then I will come to know what my higher self is talking to my mother's higher self, right?
No, what you ask, they only convey.
Oh, okay.
What you wanted to know. Your higher self knows. See, again, in this mobile example, why mobile will communicate something to the other end unless until you ask something. Yeah?
Yes.
You have some question or say greetings or whatever you wanted to say. You talk. Its duty is to convey. It does not generate on its own and filter it out and then give it something not. It's not that. No.
Okay.
Okay, whatever you need to know, it will convey, and whatever that other thing, similar device has been there to collect the other information from the other end and bring it here and then pass it on to you like that.
Okay.
It's a technology. Okay. A technology on its own will not create content. Content creator or receiver or communicator should be there. Otherwise, there is no point in this technology.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you, Guruji. Thank you.
God bless you, man. Okay, Shailaja.
Pranam Guruji.
Pranam.
The question is during meditation, if I'm occupied with some japa, is it still an inner noise? During meditation, it is actually no thoughts. But if I'm having a japa in my mind throughout the meditation, is it okay or is it inner noise?
No, the two parts of it.
Yes.
First is you are going to the no content statements, no thought, and all those kind of things. Even japa is a content. No?
Yes, Guruji, that's
okay. When you do japa, you do japa. That purpose is different. No?
okay.
Now you need to experience the vibrating silence. Even japa need to stop there.
Okay.
Like in the higher realm also, what I was explaining, many deities came and blessed me and all the other things happened. No? Then that also stopped happening.
Okay.
Only then you will reach to a state which is beyond that. I'm not saying japa, the first part of a question, is it right thing to do? Yes, it's the right thing to do. But purpose is different. Na? If you think to japa will reach to that vibrating silent state, that is not possible.
Okay, Guruji.
Okay, let me tell you one thing. All these religious practices, japa and chanting and other bhajan, kirtan and all kind of things, this is to bring our scattered mind from external world to inner world.
Okay.
Focusing. But from there, once it is focused, then purpose of the japa and all is over. From there, we have to come to 1 to 0. That is a big, step.
Okay.
Then even japa need to stop. Otherwise, you cannot have that kind of experience.
Okay.
It will be a good thing to do. It is much, much better than just thinking random things. Okay.
Yes.
So those are technical. It's very difficult to come to the, even come to the reducing thoughts is very, very important, big achievement. And those are done by these practices.
Okay, Guruji. Thank you, Guruji.
Okay. God bless you. Okay. Rishi, go ahead.
Guruji, you mentioned that you experienced vibratory silence at a point after you have gone through a lot of spiritual experiences. But does it always follow this same order, or can one experience vibratory silence at an earlier stage as well?
No, you can experience, but you cannot retain that. That's called satori, temporary experience. You can possible at any stage. See, when you do the 6-step meditation, sixth step, expanded awareness state, it is the experiencing of Shivatva, Shiva Vapti state, which is that truly that is a vibrating silence. If it's properly experienced, that is vibrating silence. Your Shivatva opens up, your oneness. That there is no difference between creator and you, that experientially you understand that. So that is the highest level possible during meditation. We can have it. But only thing is that if your system, your sadhana has not contained to go to the level where all the time you can keep that no thought, then experience vanishes. For that period, yes, it is there. But then it slowly evaporates. So whether you can have the experience, yes. But whether you can sustain is, may not be. Only thing difference between a normal, sadhak and enlightened people is they can hold that state all the time. It is called sustained enlightenment. But experience of enlightenment during any sadhana, deep meditation, you will have it. Okay, so that is the temporary experience of enlightenment. That is also quite a good thing, only it is not sustained, that's all.
Okay, Guruji, thank you.
Okay, God bless you. Devashmita.
Pranam Rajdeep. My question is kind of extension to what Sreyoshi asked. So when sometimes we have, or we say it's sixth sense, we feel that this is what is going to happen or will happen or has happened. And it might be far away, like you said, telepathy or sixth sense. Sometimes it works and many a times it works. So does it mean it has nothing to do with the meditative state? So how do we explain that and how to increase that sixth sense? I'm sorry if that question is confusing.
No, this question is fine. It's understandable. See, what you have, what is going to happen, we call precognition. Okay, means something is going to happen, you know it beforehand. Okay. Now let me explain how this precognition works. Either precognition or rendezvous. Rendezvous means one place you never visited before, but you first time you went there and it feels like I have already came here before. So these two aspects, what happens is our soul knows everything. When it can connect to anything. I'm not using the word traveling. It physically does not go anywhere. It can just, because there is no time and space there. So it can connect to any kind of energy. And everything is happening in the eternal now. Means it can even go into a future, collect some information and deliver it to you now. That is precognition. How it works? Just for analogy to understand that. How it's not happened. So how our soul knows? It knows only the planned part of it. There may be some unplanned part, which is not, only during happening it will be added to it. So let me put it in this way. Suppose a movie. All the full movie is recorded into the CD. In CD, on the screen, maybe particular part is being played. It has got its past, means some things have already happened in the past of the narrative currently shown on the screen, and something is going to come in future. But technically, you have access to all the thing, full spectrum. You can get some information from the next part of the CD and bring it and inform it to you. So that part is possible, and that is called precognition. Because soul's plan is like a CD. It goes and it had access to full spectrum. It can bring it and give it to you. Okay, that is precognition. Some places you are planning to visit. Maybe one night before it can visit the same place astrally. Astrally means the physical body is sleeping. It can astral, the higher body goes and, comes back with those experiences. When you see that, that's what you feel. It looks like familiar. And truly you have not gone there before physically. But astrally you might have gone one night before. That's why it looks familiar. So this is how it works. Okay. Your soul has access to all the things. Yeah, some also I mentioned about something may not be happening. Those are your free will. Suppose in the movie that you are seeing, there may be somebody else is talking in the movie hall. But that event is not part of the actual movie. No? That your CD will not contain. This is some additional thing attached. This is also possible, this additional thing attached, and that cannot brought forward as something that is possible. And this is completely free will driven. So it is not recorded anywhere. That is also quite possible. So both combining these two makes our experience. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, I understand. Thank you so much.
God bless you. All right. So if there is no further question, so we'll chant Shantipat and then we'll conclude our session for. Oh. Sarvesham swastirvavatu. Sarvesham shantirvavatu. Sarvesham purnam bhavatu. Sarvesham mangalam bhavatu. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhino. Sarve Santu Niramaya. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Mangalam.